So today we're doing a video on a pitching assessment I'm doing on my own, and I'm going to test velocities and see where I'm at with my own mechanics, and we'll see the adjustments I make. And the plan is to, after this, starting Monday, doing a weighted ball program in the 8 weeks and seeing if I can even get close to 90. I'm probably, as a 26-year-old that doesn't train, I just weightlift just to lift heavy weight. That's it. I'd still do arm care, but I don't throw regularly. Then I just finished a Sunday morning league, so seeing if I can go from probably a couple 82s or 83s in the game to a couple 82 to 83 in a month or two ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and seeing if I could touch 90 in 8 weeks through a weighted ball program that I made, and seeing if I can actually do it or not. I actually did throw a no-hitter against in a Sunday morning league game in the playoffs. It was nuts. It was my first start in 5 years. It was the first time throwing 7 innings in 10 years, probably, maybe 8. I haven't thrown the full 7 innings in so long. And I also closed the game the night before. It was wild. Before we get going, I'm going to test my grip strength today, see where it's at. Usually for pitchers my age or like college age, I would want minimum 120. If you're not there, then it's just doing a bunch of forearm work. It's cold without any warm-up. And if it's super low on like one day, then you probably shouldn't throw a bullpen or throw hard that day, because if your forearm's tired, it's much more likely you can get your UCL injured if your forearm's exhausted, tired, sore, because your forearm basically protects your UCL when we're throwing the baseball so much. Hopefully let's get at least 110. I got 113 yesterday. Ooh, 120.8. New day. It's a new day. And the goal is for that to go up in the next 8 weeks. Like, I won't be surprised if it gets to 140, 145, just because the amount of extra weighted work I'm doing on my forearms. And I'm throwing more, so it should go up. As long as I'm healthy. Plyo drills I'm doing. First throws, 2-pound ball. A lot of people get confused with the black, green dry ball. The green one's 2 pounds, the black one's 4 pounds. Not the other way around. A lot of people think this one is 4 pounds. Now, the pivot pegs, the 1 pound blue dry line. This one feels good on the arm. I'll do about 3 each. Go through all the drills in the same weight, and then go through all of them again with the 7 ounce. Next one is square up. I roll to the right and roll left. One more. Then rockets. These will probably change, maybe, once I get done with the assessment and assess what drills I need to do for my plyo warm-up. Plyo balls are just for warm-up. These should be used they can't be used for training, but think of this as a warm-up. Weighted balls are used for training. Yeah, pivot things. Well, it's got that. Main thing I use pilots for is for my arm action. I've always had a late arm for most of my life, so this kind of gets it on time. It's training drills, and the heavier the ball, the less stress on your joints because you're not going nearly as far back. Because the lighter the ball, a 3-ounce ball, your arm can go way back compared to a regular baseball. Now we're gonna do some pull downs. If I get 83, I'll be surprised. I'm not good at pull downs. Never was. All right. 1. I'm only doing 3. Oh, that felt slow. Remember, today is for testing, not throwing strikes and all that shit. Let's see what those numbers were. Oh, no. Those numbers were terrible. Now just starting with fastballs in the stretch, 4-seam. Now I'm testing fastball velos. 4 seams only. I'll do about 5 to 6. Oh, my arm hurts already. Nice. 2. 3. 2 more. That was slow. Last one. Okay, I'm done. Now to the assessment portion of my pitching mechanics and see what I can do better. So what I see in the first movement of my delivery, leg lift, hands and leg goes up at the same time. I drift a good amount, a decent amount. You only need that much to drift. You don't need a lot. Just get your center of mass forward so you could use the slope to your advantage once you drop and go. And what I see from everything so far is my upper half is good. My arm gets on time at front foot strike when I absorb the energy, the load from once my foot hits the ground. Everything's on time. My upper body stays closed. My arm is about pretty much here, which is where I want it, right when my front foot strike hits. And then the issues that come up that I see is nothing upper body. Nothing. My upper body looks really good for where it's at. I am pretty impressed. For the lower half, there's only one thing that I see that could really change and increase velocity pretty much instantaneously. So I do a good job of going up, down, and out. I do that fine. But how I go out is part of the issue. When I go out, my pelvis opens up pretty early. We don't want that. I get very pushy with my back leg, and that causes me to. So what originally happened, I believe, is when you don't stay close with your pelvis, your back leg has to push off, and when you push off, like you see with top velocity, they want triple extension, which that's not how you throw a baseball. Like, no, that's not how you do it. Your back leg has to rotate. There's a lot of people out there that have long strides and short strides. If you have a long stride, I don't know how you can do it, but if your back hip or your back leg can rotate and you delay rotation as long as you can, perfectly fine. Same thing with a short stride.
But what I tell with my lessons and my program guys is most people, if you're most people have too long of a stride, and I tell them to shorten their stride so they could feel getting down faster, so that forces their back leg to rotate at least a little bit. But that doesn't matter if you don't have your pelvis closed, which I don't. And what I want to think about my pelvis being closed right until foot strike, I want to think my heel once I go up, down, I want to think my heel is going towards the target and not my toes. So say you're my target, my fingers are my toes, my wrist is my heel. I want to think almost this and then land. I don't want to think that because that just opens up way too early. There's one person that did make a change in their career, and it was Aroldis Chapman. He went from a 10, 12-year big league pitcher to changing his mechanics to become a 15-year plus uh, veteran, experienced all-star legend pitcher, reliever, or closer, whatever role he is in now, to sitting from like 101 to 103 from the Reds when he was in like 2010, 2011 to being with the Yankees in about 2010 or 2020. He went from like legit 95 to 8. And if you know Aroldis Chapman, that's not him. He can't get outs very easily sitting 96. His outlier is his velo. So he was getting hit off a lot. He was walking people. He was getting hurt. And the Yankees couldn't do anything with him. So we went to see this pitching coach in the Dominican, I believe. Uh, I think it was Dominican or one of those islands. They taught him how to keep his pelvis closed as long as possible. And if you look at his video with the Yankees from about 2020 to the Rangers when he made that significant change, he went from his regular delivery he's had from 2010 to 2020, and then he changed it basically completely. Still has his own movements and ticks, but he goes up, and at the same time while he's going down, he sticks his leg out, turns the front leg in towards his back leg, so the knee is pointing basically, trying to be. You can't get perpendicular with your back knee, but he tries. So he wants some line to cross at some point and hold that as long as possible. So basically, hold the knees pointing together as long as he can. So that promotes the back leg staying closed. And if the back leg stays closed, the pelvis stays closed right until foot strike. And that's when everything happens like that. We can't have it opening early, which does that. We need to have this, not this, if that makes sense. So the longer it's closed, the more whippier our arm is. The more whippier it is, the harder it is. The more whippier it is, the more accurate it can be. If we can throw effortless velocity, that's what we want, because if you try to throw 100% every single throw, probably not going to be super accurate. There is max effort guys out there, but that's their effortless, basically, because everything's so aggressive and whippy. But they can control it because they have thousands of reps doing it. With me, the only thing I need to fix that I see that will actually be pretty much instantaneous uh, gain in velo is just keeping the pelvis closed as long as I can. And there was a couple last summer or 2 summers ago, I was experimenting with what Chapman did with his delivery, and it worked for me. And I just stopped doing it because I didn't know until now, from what I see with my mechanics from this side angle, that that is the issue. And I didn't know that a couple summers ago. If I did, I would have been throwing 85 plus easy now. But now in this way the ball program, as long as I just keep hammering this feel as much as I can, that will get down, and subconsciously I do it and I don't even have to think about doing it. So the mound drills I'm going to do after my plyos on my velo intro day will be turn and burns, linear roll-ins, and back leg hop. We will do this with like a 6-ounce ball. We'll just throw into the net. We're not going to throw it to a catcher or a target. It's just about 70, 75, 80% just to get the feels down so we know what we need to do. So that feel is basically subconscious once we start throwing after the mound drills. And when we're throwing, you can tell if you do it right or wrong. Because especially with this, I'm going to be able to tell how whippy I am, how much tight tension I can feel in my right hip once I do it right. And it just feels so aggressive, but it feels so right. With the mound drills, I'll do it with a 6-ounce ball, about 75%. I just throw into a net. The turn and burns are basically just a cutoff, throw to your target. So basically emulating a cutoff from first base to home, third base to home, whatever. And what that promotes is I'm already facing away from my target. My heel has to go this way no matter what. My right heel, I'm a lefty, my right heel has to go this way no matter what. So I'm already feeling what it feels like to stay closed. So then once we get 4 reps, 5 reps of those down, then I'll go into linear roll-ins, and that is where I'm really forcing my leg to stay internally rotated. So once I hit front foot strike, then the pelvis opens, and that's when it happens, as late as possible. So I feel what that feels like doing a linear throw and just taking away the whole horizontal movement of my delivery. And then once I do about 4 or 5 of those, I'll go into back leg hop, and I'm still trying to get that feel for keeping my pelvis closed, which I'm pointing my knee towards my back knee. It won't actually be, maybe it might, but more than likely it won't be facing it as much, but it's still facing more than it was before. Pretty much less open, more closed than before. And if I do that, I get that subconscious feel. And after 4 or 5 of those reps with the 6-ounce ball, I'll go into my pull down throws. And that's where subconsciously, I might have said this already, but subconsciously, I don't even have to think about it that much anymore. I will, but I don't have to. It's like going to play golf. You don't even hit the range before, and you're trying to do all these shots, and then you mess up on this shot out of the bunker, and you forget to do a thing, but forget to do a feel, but you already hit it, and you're like, I forgot to do that. And then the next time you get in the bunker, which could be the next hole, could be next time you play, and probably the next time you play, you'll forget that unless you train how to do that feel every single time. So what we are trying to do with my mechanics, which I am focusing solely on my lower half, keeping the pelvis closed as long as possible. And then right when front foot hits is the millisecond, then my foot opens. I'm keeping closed as long as possible right until front foot strike. You don't want open and then down. You want into the ground. Going down the slope with your front foot, not going straight down into the ground. You want with the slope. I won't be surprised if I gain 5 miles per hour, 3 to 5 miles per hour the next time I throw a bullpen, which will be in a couple days, because of this feel. And then I keep hammering that for a week, maybe another mile per hour or 2. And then week 3, 4 comes up, and I'm throwing 5 miles per hour harder. And then I'd keep taking video of my bullpens, and then maybe another problem arises because every time there you solve a problem, another problem will arise every single time. Paul Skeens has problems he's fixed, and there's more problems that he has that he needs to fix, but they're very small at that level. Paul Skeens, Ben Joyce, Spencer Strider, Tariq Skubal, all these guys have problems they need to fix. No matter what level they are, they have the high level is obviously going to have very small, minimal fixes they need to do because a human can only throw a baseball so hard. And like Aroldis Chapman, he's an outlier. He is a freak of nature, and he could throw so hard, and he still had to make this same tweak that I'm gonna make, except he threw 96 when he made that when he's making that tweak, and I throw, I guess that bullpen, I hit 77, 78, something like that, which is crazy. But when I fix this, I will probably gain 5 miles per hour. I don't doubt it. And then once I get to week 6 or 8, it'll be crazy. I might stay at 5 miles per hour added. Who knows? But I will keep taking video, mechanic changes. But the only reason I can make these mechanic changes is because I know what I'm talking about. I'm not making this stuff up. I research. I have coached kids at the college level from that through 79 to 82 who are our best pitchers statistically, and they were starters and they pitched in the national tournament game. And then I've coached guys that have touched 100 101, then a lot at 88 to 90, a lot of them. And that's why you always need a coach. If you want to make it to the college level, pro level, have to have a coach in today's age, because throwing 95 is like basically the minimum for getting drafted, which is crazy from when I grew up. When I was in high school, if you touched 90, you were going big time. Like, I remember a kid I played against, he was probably 86 to 88, and he was going to Indiana State, and then he became the Missouri Valley Pitcher of the Year, and he got drafted. And then now, there's kids all over high school. No matter how bad the high school is, there's kids throwing 85 like it's nothing. You have to get these mechanic fixes, and it's not going to be on your own, because when I was in high school, I didn't know anything about mechanics. There was nothing out there. There was no tread, driveline. There was nothing that was putting out content like this to tell us what we're doing wrong or what we're doing right or what we need to do right. And that's why having a coach gets you those simple answers quick and fast. But you got to have the right coach. There's a lot of coaches out there that have no clue what they're talking about. And if you get that guy, and if you go with a coach that pretty much doesn't care about you, you probably need to see someone else, because there's a lot of coaches out there that if you're not their top guy, their D1 high school guy, they will not care. So overall, at the end of the day, as long as I hammer these drills, feels, I will throw harder. It's simple because I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing wrong. I know what I need to do right. And if we do this right, velo will gain. And it's very simple, but it's so simple it's complicated, because you have to know what you're talking about and hammer these feels every single day. Join me in my next video where we do a velo intro to my weighted ball program that's in the first 2 weeks of the program, where we do mound drills, pull downs, velo testing just on the 5-ounce ball, and we'll see if I hit a harder number than I did on my assessment.